Hello all, here's Alice and today we're going to play the technical demo of Pathologic. I'm pretty excited to show you all the whole thing because I love this game, and since I saw the alpha video that was uploaded last year to YouTube, I've been in the search of a playable alpha version of Pathologic. After finally getting it, and this version too, I decided to throw myself to an impossible task. After all, I wouldn't be a true Pathologic fan if I did not throw myself to tasks like this one and lose a few years of life in the process. So, without further ado, Alice plays Pathologic, the technical demo, day 1, in which the impossible task begins. We start our way in what looks like a town square during the night. I guess that you guys can already imagine what this is, but we'll return to this later. Because first of all, as you guys have noticed, we're not alone. There's this man walking around in quite a dejected state. If you notice, his design kinda looks like the men that ask you for money during the original Pathologic. Let's see what happens when we talk to him. Hello, brother. Can you help me? Please, anything. I wish I could. Liar, you are not going to help me. Well. I guess that I have better stuff to do, like going for a walk in what is, definitely the first version that we know of, the town on Gorkon. I kinda like it. It's got already quite a lot of personality. It does make me wonder if Nina, should she exist in this version of the story, did unleash her architects to begin the settlement, so to say. And well, there's also that house away from the rest, but we're not visiting it, not yet. Let's see if our friend is in a better mood right now. Hello, please stop. Hello, you. Hello, Honored One. Well, hello to you too. I don't want your greetings, but to die. Come, breathe away. Well, is it just me? Or it kinda looks like this man just implied that I am infected with the sun pest. Who knows? But still. Here's one of the reasons why I think this is not only the town on Gorkon, but the Bridge Square, to be more precise. The cathedral. Because I checked in the documents and it's called Sobor, so it's the cathedral. Just, would you look at that? It's fantastic. It also looks like it has a lot of polyhedron vibes, which does make me wonder quite a few things. Like, for example, what happened to Farhat and the Stamatins in this version of the story? Should they exist, that is, or maybe the versions of them. Maybe this is the collaboration between the three, and because aside from being the cathedral, it does have a bit of polyhedron vibes, doesn't it? There's also another building that I quite like, and that we'll learn later a bit more about later. And this that painted palace. I don't know, but the first time I saw it, I had the it did have the vibes that it could be the version of the still water in this town. It just fits that my girl Eva would live there. It definitely fits. Anyhow, let's go check on our friend. Hey, you. Wait. Hello again. Hey, you there. Your name is... I mean, we've just crossed like thrice already? Anyhow, who's calling me? Go into that house. A girl asked for you. It's important, she says. Okay. So we're supposed to go to that house? Just like a friend is doing. Only... not yet, because, yeah, as you guys might have noticed, thanks to the bells of the cathedral ringing every once in a while, the progressively clearing skies, yeah, time does run in this technical demo too. Which for... yeah, in my opinion, for a technical demo done in 2002 with an engine that was more than likely built from scratch, because I imagine this was made with the icepeak engine. It's quite impressive, to be honest. Let's check on our friend yet again. You? Hello, you? Speak of the mouth. They told me you were already dead. But I'm alive, as you can see. Uh-oh. Looks like our friend stopped for a second. Quite a view, really. And of course, I guess that this is supposed to be the step 1.0, so to say. And there's a little surprise waiting for us. And yeah, it's the Gorgon River. Or maybe a forefather of the Gorgon River. Anyhow, we'll see more about it later. Now let's return to the town for our last encounter with our friend. And for a little surprise, or two maybe, before we go into the house where, as you guys can imagine, the second NPC is waiting for us. As it turns out, this demo even has music, the first Pathologic soundtrack ever, to signal the fact that, yeah, we're already in the morning of another day. And with that now over, let's go see our friend one last time. Hey, how far to the cemetery? Don't come close. I don't know. I thought you just crawled out of there. Well, I'll see you there soon. Well, that was something. I'm not sure if I'm going to miss the interactions with this man, but yeah, that was something. And off we go, finally, to this house that's waiting for us. Only not yet, because I have one more thing. Ta-da! Yeah, we also happen to have an inventory and a diary, which, by the way, were both translated by yours truly, just like the dialogues previously and the dialogues that we're going to have after this, with the help of 2 online translators, as I do happen to have very little idea of Russian. So my apologies if there are things that do not make sense, or things that do not correspond exactly with the Russian original. Thing is that I tried to do some tinkering once the text was in English, for making sense reasons, and in this case to fit the text in the hexadecimal editor, which, yeah, I did try. Anyhow, the first part, it's the diary, which is in the lower part of the screen, and it already tells us that we started in the night of the first day and now are already in the morning of the second day. Why? Because it does happen that the text for day 2 and day 3 are placeholders, whereas the text for day 1 happens to be here fully. Anyhow, we are going to see what happened so far. A man brought news that a tanner has hanged himself in a factory, half of which belongs to Mogrok, and the apprentice who took care of him came down with a fever an hour later. Well, so it does look that in this version of the story, the Sunpest has lost no time acting. I do wonder who this Mogrok might be. Maybe it could be Oyun or Big Blood. Yeah, those are my 2 candidates. Let's see what happens in the second point. Kuron left the house to find the alarmist and find out whoever communicated with the tanner and the sick apprentice. So more characters to ponder on. Maybe this Kuron is Rubin? Who knows? Or Sticky. Yeah, there's something I already have to tell you. That is that the main character in the game documents is called Bachelor. So yeah, it's mostly speculation for my part, but yeah, considering what happens in the Bachelor route, I imagined that it could be either of the two. Anyhow, going on. Checking correspondence. News from the stamp. Suspicious finds in the vicinity of the city. Take emergency sanitary measures. And Pinakothek. First data on hanged man received. And yeah, that is the name that I imagined belongs to the multicolored palace we saw previously, and what I imagine to be the version of the still water of this version of the town. Sorry for the redundancy. And so we go onto the inventory, which is on the upper half of the screen and is mostly comprised with medical equipment. And there's also the chance to move it there, but it doesn't seem to drop in this other menu. Let's check the descriptions. Folding scissors. Scissors are scissors. They cut everything that should be cut. The folding design allows you to twist them into a small size and hide them anywhere. Once they saved me in a desperate situation. Since then, I've been taking them everywhere with me. Okay. Of course, there's the scalpel. What would be of any pathologic player without the scalpel? Okay, so cartilage scalpel. This is a large scalpel. It is used to cut cartilage with it, but it can be used not only for its intended purpose. They say there are a few people who carry it with them only so they can always have a good, sharpened steel at hand. Yeah. I currently feel a little called out as a pathologic player. Chisel. Here's a chisel. It is possible that currently a few bones are broken with it, but I use it during dissection. Rare witnesses of my work say that I handle it like a real pathologist. Okay, I am currently a bit confused. What's going on here? Surgical scissors. This object resembles scissors in its structure. Once someone explained to me that the lower blade is designed so as to not open a wound when cutting the bandage. If you boil them well, you can use surgical scissors while operating. I am feeling a bit worried. Mouth expander. Even when I was a boy, I learned that this object is called a mouth expander, from which I concluded that a specialist used it to expand recalcitrant mouths. But I'm not an expert, and I use it in a variety of situations as a kind of anti-yam. Oh well,
for suturing. This is a suture hook, my namesake. Apparently, a catgut thread or needle is pulled into it, after which the entire structure is pushed into where the hand cannot reach. Here we are somewhat similar. Therefore, for me, it is a kind of talisman. Okay, so yeah, aside from the previous warring, here's an interesting bit of lore, because according to the wiki, the first surname that was used for Artemi Burak was actually Artemi Kriuk. And again, I apologize for my terrible pronunciation of Russian. And Kriuk in Russian means hook. So it could be that this bachelor is actually Artemi, or it could be that he is actually a composite of Artemi and Danil, which, yeah, that line about the left hand and the right hand just got into a whole new level, actually. Vessel clamp. This is a surgical clamp. There are hundreds of them, quite varied. Since sorry, since I don't understand a thing about medicine, relying solely on intuition, I use it as I see fit. Sometimes this approach sorry. Sometimes this approach gives completely unexpected results. Okay, so apparently our darling bachelor hook is of the school of F around and find out when it comes to medicine. Which, yeah, it's something. Sorry. Syringe. The syringe's purpose doesn't need to be explained. A syringe armed with a needle enriches the blood with some entertaining solution, a thin adapter between hidden truth and transparent illusion. Recently, it has become especially popular among the people. Okay. And there's this object that has no name or description. But if I were to be honest, I think it looks more like a syringe than the previous one. I might be wrong, I'm no doctor, so yeah. And that's it for the diary and inventory. Let's go inside that house. And yeah, this lady waiting for us, and it is Maria Caina. Yeah, she does look a bit different. By the way, since you guys have seen that I can repeat the conversations, I'm going to go through these three options because they have some interesting lore tidbits and it's worth checking. Did you forget something? Yes. My wallet was left on the shelf near the brazier. There were at least 150, and most importantly, letters. In fact, all my correspondence. Okay, I'll check it out. Just to be clear, how will you pay me back if I find out you're lying? You know, slanderers get their tongues cut off. Word gets out that they are stealing purses in my house, and my reputation isn't just worth 150. You can get it back. Do you really value your reputation so much? I would have never noticed from your behavior. Value is an understatement. My reputation is my favorite toy. So come on, describe what the wallet looked like and what was in it. And please, in more detail. Now I will gather all the servants. They will tear the floorboards off the floor, but they will search all corners of the room. And if we don't find the wallet, I'll have your hand cut off. We'll save the tongue for another time, alright? Oh, do you really want to cut off my hand? I don't know. I guess I don't want to, but I have to. It is too late to back out, you know, but I'm willing to consider my options. How about a kidney? You got one left. You might live till the pestilence kills you. I could use it. Okay, so that's the second person saying that I'm infected already? Anyhow, why? Your colleague showed up, also from the rivals. He and I seem to be getting along. He wants life organs. He's threatening to build something great out of them. Promises me a personal rescue. The boys seem promising, and I believe him. And here's an opportunity like this. You've nothing to wait for. Go about your business. You'll be back in the morning. In the meantime, we'll start our search. Okay, so that looks like the first mention we get of the opposite of the Bachelor, which could be Artemi or could be Daniel. Yeah, I guess that I'm doing a bit too much of speculation, considering the fact that we're not going to have one-on-one translations to the characters that we came to know and love. But yeah, it's still fun. Yeah, sorry. Off we go with the second conversation. Did you forget something? I feel sick. Won't you give me some water? Are you crazy? Get out of the door immediately. I'll come out to you now, or better yet, we'll talk through the window. Don't touch the door handle, open it with your foot. Come out, don't touch anything, I beg you. Wrap your hand in a handkerchief. Okay, so is it just me, or does she give a bit of an angel vibes here? I mean, I might be forgetting some stuff regarding Maria that could point to this, but she does give me some an angel vibes here. You surprise me, really. She said you could tell the healthy from the sick at a glance. What has changed since our last meeting? No one can understand anything. You know it as well as I do. Which one of us is a doctor, me or you? What do you feel? Tell me. Suffocation? Fever? Are your hands shaking? Don't come near. Go out of the door. Speak from there. Well, to be honest, after reading what we've read, I frankly doubt that he's a doctor. But anyhow, you said that the disease is not contagious, so you're not sure about that? Who told you about this? Are you bluffing again? Maria, stop being so dark. Explain to me why you went to the slaughterhouses. Why did you spend the night in a plague-ridden area? Why are you so scared? Too many questions, don't you think? I won't talk to you anyway till you help me with your games keys. Either you're with me or you're against me. Do you understand that? I trust my allies, but you're not one of them yet. Go, And don't come back without good news. Now you have an extra reason to not cross my threshold. Well, yeah, it looks like the Kain Olgimsky relationship is verging more towards an overt enmity here than in later versions of this story, which, yeah, could give for an interesting situation here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, we have another one left. Did you forget something? Another idea has arisen about the death of Nikki. Actually, that was what I was coming to you with. A leaky head. Interesting? Apologies for the tongue tying, but yeah, I have to point out that my first identification of Nikki was Simon. So thinking the most I was thinking, and that Simon, the Simon in this version was Nikki, which did lead to some jokes about it being a little too on the nose that you're naming the person whose death kind of creates all this story after the actual creator of the story, Nikolai Dybowski. Turns out that I might not, should have read a little bit further before going all jokey. Speak. Okay, I'll explain briefly. After the fight, the twin Stamatin wanted to finish off Little Blood, and the stupid girl got under the knife and began to whine until people ran away. Then Stamatin let himself be led away, and I began to bandage Blood with rags that were thrust under my hands. Among the other junk was a dirty shirt, and I recognized her. Guess whose? So yeah, the fact that Nikki is actually a girl, I think kind of throws my previous idea of Nikki being Simon to the trash, to be honest. And now that I've been stewing this a bit, I think that there are also two potential candidates. The first one being Ibayan, because there's another bit of dialogue from Maria that calls her her friend, and yeah, there's the relation with the Stamatins and with Utopians, and yeah, we all know what happens to Eva in the Bachelor route, so yeah. And the other, of course, being Farhad, who also happens to be dead at the beginning of the story and has a certain relationship with the Stamatins. Speak, I'm listening to you. Details are irrelevant. The fact is that in my hands I have a shirt covered with human blood. Only Nikki had such a shirt, and not only there was custom-made sewing, but there was also a mark on the place of the solar plexus. It will not be difficult to identify her. The difficulty lies in who dropped it. Now, even less serious evidence can serve as a basis for reprisals. Such a mess in the city. Yeah, such a mess. I get you, smartass. I propose a deal. I pay 500 and you swear that Blood dropped the shirt. I paid 200. You just keep quiet about the case. If you swear on Stamatin, you will not leave the city alive. What do you say? And I feel bad for betraying my man Bladito, but we have to choose the first option. You'll see why. Agreed. The first option will suit me perfectly. Will you swear that Blood dropped it? Darling, that's a gift, so a gift. That's it, Benedict. The morning of the evening it's more complicated. Come in the morning. At first light, come straight to me. Then we'll talk properly. Be sure I can thank you for that. I will obey your ruins for, say, a week? Think about it at night. See you. Yes. So now we do have a full name for our darling dear bachelor, Benedict Hook. That's kinda cute. Though, let's be honest, I think I do prefer the names that were chosen in the end. It's mostly because Artemi and Daniil, perhaps it's that I've grown too accustomed to them, but they suit the story better, I think. And here we go back to the Gorkon River. And to explore the limits of this first version of our favorite town of the steppe. Swimmy, swimmy, swimmy. And thankfully this one doesn't look as contaminated as it will look later. Okay, so yeah, we're exploring the limits. I thought that I wouldn't be able to cross this one, but it looks like I was able. And yeah, and it looks like it's a bigger world than I thought. Maybe we're going to go swimmy swimmy for a longer. Oops. Looks like we've reached the limits, and with such the end of this playthrough. Should we jump? Should we? Why not? Yay! And bye bye to the technical demo.
We've seen the very first origins of the town on Gorkon, the story of the bachelor, who in this version is not Daniil yet, or is, but also Artemi, but also, yeah, okay, stop now. A hint of what is going on with the Kains and the Olgimskis, the Stamatins, and all this stuff that will later take new forms and shapes. Thanks for accompanying me in this little trip, and for the better or the worse, this is only the beginning. We will see each other soon, this time with the 2004 alpha of the original Pathologic.